The most important thing in your reply, I think, is to give that reflection, that reflective statement. So as long as you've given that at the start and they feel that they've been heard, then you've kind of done your job, definitely. But after that, you can use your intuition as to what else might be useful. And remembering that you are the teacher, and to some degree, you do need to give instruction and guide people. So you do need to give some advice in the right context. And it really depends on the kind of advice you're giving. I think that when people are being vulnerable and sharing something deep, this is what I always say to the coaches, is you've got to match that energy with your attention. So if someone's sharing something profound, then you stop and you honor that and you sit with that, and you give it its due attention. So that's important, and you might do that in a number of ways. So I think that as long as you're talking about meditation, you're talking about meditative ways to support that person, or you're listening and reflecting, then that's well within the scope of your role as a meditation teacher. And you start advising about things you're not qualified to talk about, then you can get into murky water. But I think that's a good kind of boundary to know if I'm staying within the realms of advising as a meditation teacher, or staying within my professional capacities and the things that I'm qualified at and the things that I know, then I don't think you can go too far wrong. And there is a place for your experience. I think experience is a wonderful teacher. And it's one thing when we talk about not talking about yourself, we're talking more about changing the subject and just talking about yourself the whole time, which I don't think is what you do. I think you would be using a story, perhaps from your own life, as a teaching example. And that can be actually a really gentle and invitational way to give advice, because it doesn't sound like advice. So you might say, someone might be struggling with something and you've got something a little bit awkward to tell them, like maybe you need to, do this, but you may not go down so well. Then you can tell a story and say something like, well, what's really worked for me, or in my experience, what I found helpful was to do this. And you could tell a story about what happened to you and what you did about it and how it helped you. And then say to them, well, that might resonate for you or it may not, but, that's what I could offer around that. And, be humble about it. It's not that you have all the answers, but there's a lot that you can offer, and it's okay to offer that.